Hi guys, Olive here today to talk to you about my reading plans for September of 2019. I have some really exciting things planned for September, and the books that I'm planning to read are among the things that I am extremely excited about, so I can't wait 1 second longer. Let's talk about the books. First and foremost, I want to tell you about a read-along that I'm joining in on that I absolutely think you should join in on too. The booktuber who I want to be when I grow up, if I grow up, Katie from Books and Things, is hosting a read-along of Bellman and Black by Diane Setterfield. This time last year, Katie hosted a read-along of The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, which was her first novel. And not only was that read-along a ton of fun to participate in because Katie knows that novel so well, but it ended up being one of my favorite books of the entire year. So when she announced her intention to host a read-along of this, Diane Setterfield's second novel, I knew I had to get on board. This is a historical fiction work all about a man who strikes up a bargain with a stranger in black. So it's spooky, it's gothic, it's typical Diane Setterfield, and it is perfect for this season as we're starting to get some fall weather, which I am so excited about. If you would like to join in on this read-along, I will put the Goodreads group down below. You have plenty of time to join us. I think we're starting in mid-September. And since I like my books to start edging toward the dark side this time of year, the classic I picked off of my Classics TBR for this month is Agnes Gray by Anne Bronte. This one is less spooky and more bleak in that delightful Bronte way, and it is about, contain your shock, a governess. But from what I hear, this book is a lot more true to what the governess experience actually would have been like versus a romanticized version. I really liked The Tenant of Wildfell Hall when I read it a couple of years back, although Gilbert was the worst. I've been really eager to pick this one up, especially since I'm trying to work my way through all of the Bronte novels. I would be completely lying to you if I said that my expectations weren't pretty lofty for this one. Another reason to love this time of year is that the next book in the Amory Ames Cozy Mystery series comes out. She always releases them during this fall time frame. And the 6th book in the series, called A Dangerous Engagement, is due to be released right at the beginning of the month, and it surrounds a murder that happens at a wedding in 1930s New York. If you've not heard me rave about this before, allow me to do so now. This is my absolute favorite cozy mystery series. It begins with the book Murder at the Brightwell, if you're looking to get into it, which I highly recommend that you do because it is fantastic. If you like sassy, high society main characters, snarky dialogue between a married couple, and really well-structured mysteries, this one will definitely be for you. I plan on binging this as soon as my pre-order arrives. Since it is back to school season, I'm starting to get that itch for a good campus novel. So this month I'm planning to pick up Black Chalk by Christopher Yates, which is all about a group of students at Oxford playing a dangerous game that threatens to get them in some real trouble as the stakes of the game keep escalating. It definitely sounds like one of those secret history-esque books that I am so obsessed with, and I will be very pleased if that ends up being the case. Moving on to some dark nonfiction, YouTube's favorite mortician, Caitlin Doughty, author of Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, has a brand new book coming out this month called Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs? Big Questions from Tiny Mortals About Death. The author, cover, and title of this book might have been enough to convince you to read it, as definitely was the case for me. But in case you need to know more about it, this is a book that tries to tackle some of the strange but fair questions that kids have about death. If you know anything about her, you'll know that Caitlin Doughty is a huge advocate for death positivity. She is a proponent for incorporating more conversations about death into our normal everyday conversations so it's less taboo, so it feels less foreboding. And kids are just as interested in topics concerning death as the rest of us, so I am sure she is going to argue in this book that you should have age-appropriate conversations with kids about death. I am sure this one is going to be just as entertaining as her previous 2 books were. This has been one of my most anticipated new releases of the year. It comes out on September 10th, but I have it early because Steve sent it to me early for review, and so I didn't die of anticipation. Kind of related to the previous and prepping for Halloween early, I would also like to read All That Remains by Sue Black, which seems to be part true crime and part memoir as we get a chance to look into the field of forensic anthropology. Fun fact, among several other careers that I've entertained pursuing a future in over the years, Forensic anthropology is one of those. So my 7th grade self is screaming with excitement right now. And the last dark piece of nonfiction I'd like to read during the month of September is actually off of my 5-star nonfiction predictions list. That is Gulag by Anne Applebaum, which is all about the Soviet prison camp system. I referenced this book a lot during my college experience, but I never actually read through the entire thing. It has so much praise for being well written and well researched, so I've always wanted to read through the whole thing, not because I think it's going to be fun, but because I think it's important to know about these things. So definitely not light reading, but certainly I think it's going to be a tremendous book, hence why it's a 5-star nonfiction prediction. This has been really dismal so far. I mean, I like that and everything, but let's try to brighten things up a little bit here at the end of the video. There are 2 more books that I have my eye on this month. Both are infinitely lighter than some of the previous books. The first of those is another September new release that I cannot wait to read. It is called Saving Jemima by Julie Zickfoos. This is about a wildlife rehabilitator who takes in an orphaned blue jay. I adore these types of books, these ones in the style of Owl by William Service, where someone takes in a wild animal out of necessity, not because they want one as a pet. But I am from the northeastern United States, so I am very familiar with blue jays, and I know exactly how aggressive they can be. So I am incredibly curious to hear how this experience went for her. And the last book I'm hoping to take on during the month of September is one that I'm going to be buddy reading with Harriet Rosie. It's one that I've recently hauled called The Sakura Obsession by Naoko Abe. This book is all about an Englishman who helped to save the Japanese cherry blossom tree in Japan. So it does definitely seem like more of a springtime read, but neither one of us can wait to pick it up. So September it is. So those are all the books that I have on my reading wish list for September. Hopefully I can get to all of these and maybe even more. A girl can dream. If you've read any of these books, if you've heard of any of them, or if you'd like to read them now that you've heard me talk about them, I would love to hear from you. You can put that or any other comments or questions you have down in the comment section below. But if you would prefer to find me somewhere other than YouTube, I am on a variety of different places on social media, and the links to all of my profiles are linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.